And after that first game, I already was. I was already vulnerable. And now Jat's had this amazing story, and I think I'm almost ready to flip-flop. I don't know.
I mean, upsets are possible.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of the Miracle on Ice?
I have.
It's like an American sports story.
Yeah, I haven't really.
I tried to pitch this.
I know a few American
two
sports stories.
unnamed NA teams. There were two of them, so you'll never know who I'm talking about.
Okay.
Before 2014 quarterfinals in Korea, because they've just been getting destroyed by Korean teams in scrims all the time. I'm like, you know what? Upsets have happened. I just told them all these stories about American history. I'm like, yeah, but I really just don't think we're going to win. Of course you don't think you're going to win, and then they lost.
Yeah, they did. They did lose. I remember that.
Yeah. I wonder who they scrimmed, says Wonder.
Wow, I guess it's pretty cool strat. Just taking credit for Loki's incredible play. Wonder, that was low. That was low. Let them have this. My goodness.
Look at that individual goal to 15 by Celebrity Tristan in Game 1, and 47.6% of the team's damage.
That's a lot of percent of the team's damage, especially over a game that's that long as well. It's normally these sort of snowbally games or low kill games where it's like one team fight is actually the majority, and you've not fought at all, and then you get to 40 minutes, and I'm giving away the fact that I'm an LCK commentator here just a little bit, but you have the AD carry get 50% of the damage because he's actually just the only damage dealer, and they've only done one fight, so the percentages are a little bit confusing. That is not the case for this game. Celebrity was right in the faces of Damwon Gaming, and then he was the one that won it towards the end. I like this. I remember I commentated him back when he was playing for Saigon Jokers a really long time ago.
Wow.
And I believe this squad as well had a lot of players from like Team Friendship or something. The team that didn't actually do a lot of
Friends
Forever Gaming. That's right.
Yeah.
They didn't actually qualify into any of the IWCIs, IWCQs, or the play-ins, but they just had the best name.
Yeah.
Was Gaming also from that league?
You mean G2?
No, Gaming.
I know, I'm kidding.
Yeah, it's 2G. It's 2G. It's different. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So far, nothing's happened this game, guys. We actually haven't really acknowledged that the game started again. It has, in fact. That's what's on at the moment, as you can see. 200 gold is currently the lead for Damwon, just in the laning phase. But it's only 2 minutes in. I feel like we've been talking for a really long time, but there just hasn't been very much League of Legends. We've just been learning about stories and having a philosophy lesson from Jat, which I very much appreciated.
Yeah, and they're definitely not lane swapping in the early game in this one, so I want to track...
That's a field
Showmaker, you don't have spells left. Doesn't look like DNK does either, though, so should be fine.
Yeah, Showmaker actually very aggressive. I got very confused because, of course, Canyon was playing the Kiana, so I thought I was checking the smite of the Talia. And their faces aren't super different as well if you have a look at the icons.
Yeah.
I was still
now the jungler is going to try and invade DNK. It's a group effort to try and deny him here, and they actually have...
Well, we're looking for it. The smite does come in, so DNK locks down the red buff. Canyon doesn't go any further forward. He doesn't have his blue buff just yet, does Canyon. And he knows that DNK is actually very low.
And flashless.
Yeah. Threaded volley does get him out of there. Is now stunned underneath the turret is Hani. He doesn't have very much farm, Jat, so I think that your assessment of the Pyke is working out thus far.
Yeah. Although he is sustaining fairly well. You can see he's gone with as many potions as possible.
Yeah. Bit of a demolish there.
Combo.
Gonna find it, so Hani successfully saves himself on that one. Bone Skewer, but outside of turret range is Nogari, so will survive for the moment. Getting a bit dangerous, and that was Canyon just a little bit slow on the seismic shove.
Yeah, you basically have to press the buttons at the same time, and that gets even more close when the Pyke builds Mercury Treads. But early on, Loki doing fine in the lanes that they're expected to do fine in. Yep. And also dealing with the very aggressive invading of Damwon early on.
I like how you're saying fine, and fine is like a 16 CS disadvantage at 4 minutes on the top side of the map. Like, Nogari has over double his farm, but like, they're doing great. This is really good.
I have this, I don't know, it's a curiosity. Anytime I see, well, we're going to watch this dive in top lane. Anytime I see a weird champion in a solo lane in like Challenger, I always try and dig into it. But we're going to watch Canyon try and get this dive off. If they can get the combo properly, they take most of his health. But for now, they're just going to go for turret plates.
Yep, it's another Demolish proc comes on in there as there's the flash, but Honey gets out of the way. Seismic shot still lands though, and the stun was still primed. The deep water dive is in, but he's down to about 200 health. He should be okay. Yeah, Bone Skewer comes forward as Noguri wants the autos, doesn't get them. First blood once again to Loki Esports.
Noguri going so aggressive with Canyon. They really just brute forced that gank, and missing the flash on top of blowing a lot of damage into Hani's Aftershock means he doesn't take fatal damage, and it makes the follow-up gank by DNK quite easy. Unwilling to just take a huge advantage from the Cull plus CS advantage, they had to go for more, and they get denied.
Well, over goes DNK. Yeah, he is easily able to smite that one away. That denies Canyon level 4 as well as denying him the blue buff. A real disaster here for Damwon to start this game off, but probably still not as bad as how things went in game 1.
Not yet, but you can see here the Aftershock eats most of the damage from the Taliyah combo. Otherwise, that is a fatal kill. If they were able to get the original stun, they likely would have had the 100-0 damage. That's why Renekton was near 100% presence in the LCK towards the end of the year, because everyone was very good at this, whether it was Taliyah Renekton or Elise Renekton, in generating kills. Yet for some reason here, Nuguri messes up his flash range and is unable to get Hani.
Yeah, so first it was Canyon messing up when to use the seismic shove, and then it was flash range on Noguri that was messing things up. And Honey even went back in, right? And the seismic shove was just landed by good aim on Canyon's behalf, and the Ruthless Predator wasn't actually timed out just yet, so Noguri gets that one back as well. And despite that working, still wasn't enough to lock down the Pyke. Pyke continuing to be a problem when used in a solo lane for a Korean team.
Yeah. So the
I
point
still have nightmares, Chad.
About the Pyke?
Yes.
Murdering SKT in Game 5 of MSI?
Mm-hmm. Thanks for clarifying. Yeah.
Well, just in case the viewers wanted in on your your sleep problems.
Yeah, that's where the nightmares come from. That exact Pyke.
He was so fast. Do you remember that replay where he just zoomed down through the?
I do remember that replay, Chad. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Anything else you want to talk about from that?
How the ult just resets over and over.
Those sacks of gold, Max. You remember the sacks of gold that he had delivered to his team? Well, remember Canyon turning up in the mid lane, lands another seismic shove, and that's what happens when you don't have Aftershock. Showmaker picks up the ground, throws it at Twisted Fate, and he dies.
And they burn the flash on Artifact, so that will completely limit his ability to roam, and now kind of opens up the map for Showmaker. How quickly can they use this advantage, because there is still the Kiana ultimate. This is a 4-man crash dive.
Yeah, that's the flash headbutt pole. Celebrity immediately gets taken down. The hook lands onto Canyon and Beryl. It tanked up the turret for so long, but that's Showmaker that turns up. And teleport comes down. The flash play. The cow is turned into mincemeat as Showmaker finds the ultimate onto one, but it's not the target that he wanted. Nuclear, are you going to press R? The answer is no. Doesn't want to dive into 3 people as Venus. Good sidestep there as Noguri just going to finish off some plates on the bottom side of the map. Looks like leftovers for the Crocodile.
Such a sweet flash play by Venus right there, making the blast cone the ally by displacing at the last second. So even though that was a very quick transition for Damwon from the kill mid to immediately going bottom, we're going to watch it one more time. And this is just a route. And normally, actually, when you see this gank, it would just be a route into an immediate seismic shove, but this was technically dodgeable by Artifact, just well aimed by Canyon at the very end. And Infernal actually goes over to low key. First Infernal of the series for them.
Yep, Damwon going to lose it. Next Drake is going to be that Mountain Drake yet again. I believe same order of Drakes as it was in game number 1. So we'll see whether it might even be the 3 Infernals. Maybe Loki gets it, and maybe that's actually a bad omen for them, because apparently in this series, if you get 3 Infernal Drakes, you lose the game. It's very perplexing. You've got Noguri still at almost double the CS of Hani, so I think that things need to continue happening around this Pyke, otherwise he's just going to fall further and further behind.
So here's the thing.
Tell me the thing.
With solo lane Pyke. I don't think he needs CS to be successful. When I look at challenger solo lane Pyke players, their CS per minute's like 4.5. So low. Because
you're playing at home, that's under half of what good CS is.
Good CS is 10 per minute, maybe 9.5. And crazy solo queue games that happen here in the US, it's probably like 8. I've been watching a lot of track in the pros, and they're just killing each other everywhere. But yeah, so like Pikes are at 4 and other champions are at 8. And he does so much stuff outside of lane that he just follows like different gold values than other champions. Like a Pike with 5 CS per minute can be just as, if not more effective in a team fight than a Renekton with 9, given the right situation. So just as we're looking at this, the gold could potentially slingshot around a fair bit because Damwon could be up 1,000, but then a Pike gets a triple kill in a team fight and it's back, right? And then that lower CS number ends up just kind of fitting in with the kit to still have enough gold.
A bit crazy. Nuguri, though, has more swords and a bigger one than Hani at this stage. They're just trying to outsword each other. Right here, that pesky shield in Hani's inventory, taking up space that he doesn't want utilized by that. Nuguri really wanted to get towards that turret so that he could take that last plate that was just hanging on by a thread. Don't know whether he actually made it there, but does make it down into the river to try and get some vision control on Damwon's side as Venus is lurking. They have transitioned towards Shelly, and she's been alive for 40 seconds, and yeah, she's going to be taken down. Is this clutch? I thought they were playing in the next series.
Well, we're about to find out with what happens at the Rift Child fight because Damwon is coming in for this. And that's a lot of people in the river for a Kiana.
Yeah, and Barrel's turned up here as well, so it is going to be a 4 versus 5 for the moment. But the killer instinct is going to be there for Nuclear, so Shelly hasn't reset just yet, and it looks like Damwon, they want to be able to steal this one away. DK's got some great smites before as he goes golden immediately. Not entirely sure who picked up the Rift Herald, but now the fight is on. Showmaker dives forward. DK dies so incredibly fast as the culling is soaked by the cow. Beryl still has the unbreakable will as Hani trying to get that pincer maneuver off to the top side. Damwon intelligently trying to get the stragglers as they move themselves forward. Headbutt pole lands, but that is a great aftershock proc there by Venus. Stun comes in, Artifact is being closed on, flash forward. The Twisted Fate goes down, and the rest of Damwon were dealing with the Thresh. Really good control here from the Damwon squad around that Rift Herald.
And they also were able to pick up the Rift Herald, which is just immediately used by Nuguri early.
Nuguri was the one that picked it up, so of course he's put it in his lane to try and get all of those plates that he was trying to lock down against this Pike. Oh, Nuclear. What a cheeky devil. Look at that. Goes and steals his plates away.
Also, did you know, Ender told me this the other day.
Oh, yeah?
Rift Herald resets the cooldowns of your trinkets.
Really?
Yeah. So Nuguri technically could have spammed his wards, grabbed that Rift Herald, used it right away, and got his wards back.
I wonder if he did that, because he had roamed down to the river. You can see there are a couple of Damwon wards there. We could just say, just proving you right's sake, that they were there. So let's have a look now how this fight went.
Yeah, Canyon gets the smite, but Nuguri picks up the Rift Herald, and really Showmaker just catches the whole of Loki and stops them from being able to follow up on this fight. And the whole time, Pike on the flank is just hoping to get someone in execute range, which is one of the reasons I think Nuclear had that early heal.
Yeah.
He said, all right, Barrel, I don't want Pike resetting on us. That kind of infused him with the confidence to go in with his Aftershock and ult. No damage can really be returned, and everyone on Loki ends up just getting 2 split up.
Yeah, we have to talk about this Damwon comp and how it works together as well, just for a little bit, because there's some really exciting interactions with how this one works. Yes, they've got a whole lot of divers, right? They're able to get things done, but the really cool thing about this comp is that Canyon can set up supreme display of talent wall options for Showmaker. And you can create some crazy Thunderdomes with the shapes that you can build, and you can have a heck of a lot of damage if you block people off, especially in Baron Pits, throughout the jungle, things like that, because that interaction does work.
Yeah. Sometimes it can just seem to blow up the whole screen, especially if you threw a Jarvan in the game as well, because if the walls connect, everything flies around with the Kiana ultimate.
It's real silly. Actually, the first time I saw it, I was very confused. It was like a disco. Lots of lights, lots of explosions. It was a Michael Bay film. But it was certainly exciting to watch, and we'll see whether Damwon can show us some of these team fights as the Mountain Drake is going to go over. I love it, being able to pick up the Earth Dragon when they've got 2 sort of Earth-wielding champions as well, in the Talia and the Kiana. Thematically correct, beautiful. Theoretically, Kiana does control a lot of different elements, but I think the Earth element is the coolest one.
Because of the damage?
Yeah. Do more damage makes you cooler, chat. That's how it works.
If I had to rank them, I don't know. I think the grass has the most fun for the Kiana player.
Yeah, I'd say so. Going a bit stealthy. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Water's the most powerful.
Yeah. what is the actual good one?
Yeah.
And then the earth one's the bait because it does more damage.
Only when they're low.
Yeah. I actually think what makes a good counter player is the ability to reset all of the elements over and over again throughout a fight. So you've actually used all of them the one time with how the cooldown sort of reset. I think it's really beautiful watching a really skilled counter player work. Have to keep our eyes on Showmaker as this game goes on, see whether it's him or Canyon that are the better Kianas. Canyon spent a fair bit of time in the Death Chamber in game number 1, so Showmaker does feel like more of a Showmaker champion. Here does the Kiana.
And just looking at their CS in the group stage, it was very much a solo lane focus, and Nuclear had a really hard time, especially in day 1 of the group stage, and ended up bouncing back a little bit more. So day 4 was his second day. Keep in mind, the average we just saw was from the whole group stage, and this was just his 2 games on day 4, which tells you how rough it was in the first 2 games for him. But looked a little bit better, definitely, as the second day of playing stage happened for them.
Yeah, Nuclear really did sort of repair his play. And it's cool because the way Damwon qualified here is in a 5-game series against a King Zone that had been in a huge rut over the last little while. They qualified because they had enough championship points after finishing 3rd in the spring season, but their summer season was basically non-existent. They weren't really able to get anything done in a hyper-competitive top side of the LCK, and they were up against this King Zone squad that have probably one of the most dominant 2v2s in lane that we have in the league. And I think that's why it was a 5-game series. I think because they were able to lock down Nuclear and Beryl and challenge that weakness without having to give any resources to it. Deft and Tucson just kill people in 2v2s all the time. I think that is going to be a real way to tackle this Damwon squad. And I think it's a large reason why things worked out for Loki early, because it wasn't like you were moving extra people around or doing anything like that. It was a lane swap. It was creating chaos.
And Nuclear was not going to punish them with Garen. That's for sure.
That is definitely.
He might have on something else.
He did show us some of those sick Garen mechanics, though. There are a few of those moments in those team fights. Do like that as Damwon. 2 minutes until this next dragon is up. Looks like they're just trying to aim for some extra control around this area, although Canyon standing on that ward isn't helping himself out there. With these outer turrets taken down, feels like Damwon have given up on the laning phase and are looking for the 1-3-1 that they do so often in the LCK.
Yeah, and now it would be on Loki to actually get a tee-off ultimate in for an initiation this time. But the CS of Hani is pretty good. Being able to get kind of the early assist gold on Nagri's Renekton, which stopped him from being too aggressive. Let him get to Tiamat quickly enough that he's been CSing quite well at his own turret, but he would need that one team fight to really get going, and the number of kills in this game just have to go way up for this solo lane Pyke to be effective, because that's the way he generates so much of his gold. So much of the power of the champion is actually just the gold he generates through his ultimate.
I feel like next serrated Dirk is when they just have to fight. When Loki are just at a point where they will only get weaker after that point. I think that is a big power spike here for Hani to try and fight around, but if Damwon can get a team fight that they're looking for, because remember, this is now a team fight composition from Damwon as well. They can dive bomb with their Kai'Sa, they can get a whole lot of chain CC down from the Alistar that's in Beryl's hands. You have to remember the nameplates are very important here because Beryl is so incredibly good at finding the right moments for his Pulverize. And then the Supreme Display of Talent plus the Weaver's Wall are a combo that really do need to be respected, as we're having some drawing. Finally, it's back. Yeah,
it was bugged in game 1. We didn't get it. But now look at all the wards and the vision controls that they have in the river, with Dragon coming up in exactly 20 seconds. So,
I forgot
in case you wouldn't know. Also, if you ever want, I can just give you visual support for your points.
Okay.
And tellustrate for you.
All right, next team fight. While I'm play-by-playing, could you please highlight where the things are happening so that the audience can see? That would be really, really cool. It will probably be also very distracting, so hopefully I can keep it together.
I have a plan.
All right, I'm ready. The Infernal Drake is
going to be a while for the next team fight if Damwon has their way.
Yeah. 4,000 gold is the lead just somehow for Damwon. They won a couple of fights.
Yeah.
And that's what allowed them to get there.
And they had so much vision control, it would have been unwise of Loki to actually go in there and check.
I've got an important question, Chad.
Oh, great.
I was wondering who's copying who out of Showmaker and Hani when it comes to item builds.
I'm excited about this because I had a question for you that also related to longswords.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Answer my question first, though. Who do you think is copying who?
I think Showmaker is copying Hani.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I feel like this is the Pike build, and Pike's been around long.
Yeah, and I think the Tiamat is optional.
True.
On Kiana.
Whereas it's mandatory.
Yeah.
On Pike because he doesn't have any other way of killing minions.
No other way. My question would be, remember when sometimes casters ask each other for help with analogies?
Yeah.
You were talking about Renekton and Pike racing towards longswords.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to be like, you don't get in a sword fight with the or something. Like, there's something there.
There's a crocodile sword fight.
Yeah, but I also couldn't figure out what Pike was.
Dude, it's a pirate versus a crocodile. It's Captain Hook versus the crocodile with the clock. You just need a stopwatch, and you've triggered him completely out of existence. As here we go. Supreme Display of Talent finds 0. But Damwon aren't going to get caught out of position or anything like that. Thanks, chat. That was a really good slow effort. I feel like for that one, you could just draw. We'll work on it. We'll work on it. It's okay. There'll be more fights this game.
Yep. So what is the saying then? You don't start a knife fight with the...
Spoon? I don't know. I think it's the knifey spoony.
Something wrong.
That's a Simpsons reference.
Someone will figure it out.
Yeah, someone will tweet it to you. Someone smarter than I am, because I don't actually know what you're talking about at all. I just got really excited about Peter Pan, because Captain Hook versus the crocodile is fun to me.
Yeah. Okay.
That's all I got, really. But DNK doing his very best to try and hold on to some sort of control, and there is a very pesky control ward in this red side jungle, giving Loki all sorts of added information. Come on, Damwon. Get it.
I mean, this is the type of game. This is the type of game we expected in Game 1.
Yeah.
And it feels like Damwon has kind of refound, their seriousness in this series.
Rediscovered even.
Yeah, and like that Twisted Fate ultimate was used just because they wanted to check Baron, right?
Yeah.
Not because they were looking for a fight, but at some point they do need to go in, right? They're getting starved out of trinkets.
Were you actually thinking of don't bring a knife to a gunfight?
Yeah, but it needed to be swords.
Yeah, I know.
It needed to be a crocodile fight.
Yeah.
There was a lot of things that were missing.
Don't bring a crocodile to a sword fight?
Yeah, don't bring a crocodile to a sword fight.
Don't bring a crocodile to a barbecue?
Yeah.
I think that's an obvious one.
But nothing's barbecuing. It's not like they're building Sunfire capes.
Yeah, that's true. There's no rumbles here.
No.
I think it needs some work, right? But
yes.
We'll definitely...
We'll workshop it later.
I'm sorry, that's all I was thinking about while you were making up.
One of my favorite things is taking idioms people are used to and then switching the last word.
Uh-huh.
Right? So that's why, like, kind of an idiom, don't bring a blah, blah, blah to a blah fight. Like, you
actually, I think that's really cool because, like, if you change the last letter of idiom, you get idiot. There's a reference there. Can we figure out a way to make that one work too, Jen? I don't know.
So rude.
Well, do you know what's rude? We're in the lull state, and we haven't talked about the lull state yet because this game has slowed well and truly all the way down as we're having a look at the bounties that people have on their heads. It's actually the circles were getting in the way there just a little bit.
They were.
As Nuclear is making his way towards item number 3. We need to talk about when this Damwon comp is going to get strong, and I think 3 items for Nuclear is going to be a big one. As Beryl, he's going to try and get them off the lantern, and a seismic shove will do just that. Nuclear's going to grab it, and they're going to blast cone their way over to this Baron. The Weaver's Wall's fantastic, as well as Venus. He can't get over unless he flashes, and he doesn't have it available. Teleport's coming in, but can they actually get there? The seismic shove to get them out of the way. The culling was in there, but the smite was true this time. Showmaker doesn't get the Supreme Display of Talent, but it's a really good cleanse. As into the backline goes Nuclear. He gets stunned, but he's able to take down Celebrity before anything happens. Damwon lose no one. They gain themselves a Baron and 2 kills. And Hani, he might be going down yet again. Oh no. This 1-2 punch of the cow plus the Talia is working so well for Damwon this game. And
they actually had so much control over that entire situation. The starving evasion they had done to Loki over the past 4 or 5 minutes, forcing them into a move, and now they're at least going to be trying to take this inhibitor.
And Canyon's eye is well and truly in on these flicks as well. The seismic shove looked fantastic, like he was swatting a fly away. But instead it was a thresh, and it denied him from getting towards that pit. You could tell that he really wanted to get over there and provide vision for his squad so that maybe there was a potential steal. Just wasn't going to happen. Nogari sees 50 gold on the map right there, and he's going to take down that ward. The first flick, fantastic. Venus will come over in the end. Another one. The Weaver's Wall's brilliant.
Yep.
This was all about Canyon.
Also keeping Thresh out from hooking the pit so he couldn't bring a teammate in. The only possible scary part would have been the culling, but as long as you have that in there, Hani not able to get the ult onto Showmaker to stop any potential things from going wrong. But even if he lands that, everyone else on Damwon was completely full health.
And now another Mountain Drake is going to make breaking this base even easier. It was already done. The inhibitor in the mid lane was there, and 8,000 gold is now the lead at 25 minutes into this game. Feels like Damwon, they've repaired their mental after a long pause at the beginning of this game and a disastrous game one, as we're having a look at the 3 items completed. Thank you very much, Jat, for highlighting that one. Nuclear is now strong, and I think they've already won the key team fight that they were looking for. Things just went from bad to worse. As that's the way I know that one, Jet. I know that one. As Weaver's Wall's going to come in, so Canyon looking for more supreme display of talent. It's going so far around these walls, but unfortunately, the Weaver's Wall saves them from the damage. Massive pulverize in the backline shows us that it just doesn't matter what the Kiana's ultimate's doing if they can get into this fight. They just have too much damage. As now DNK is looking to turn it onto Showmaker. His combo doesn't do quite enough damage. As now you got Showmaker trying to deny him from stopping these backs, but it doesn't matter. There are super creeps in the base. The Nexus will be taken down. A 26-minute revenge victory for Damwon. And something I wasn't expecting to say was that this has evened out the series between Damwon and Loki.
You're absolutely right, but I think Damwon did a very good job of recovering from the insanity of game one. They did pick a Renekton. Loki didn't decide to go for lane swaps, and even though a few things actually did go wrong for them in the early game, they stayed controlled, they didn't overforce, and they just kind of let the game come to them. They actually played their game rather than just thinking they would be able to walk over Loki Esports, which Loki proved couldn't be done in game one.
Yeah, and it was once again a cull start from Nuggery, but I think the rest of the team certainly played with a lot more respect for this squad. I'm glad that we saw a lot of barrels moments as well that we were expecting on the Alistair, and Showmaker on the Kiana, despite missing one of the ultimates, was otherwise able to utilize her exactly where she needs to. And a lot of the things that Damwon were commended for were playing around item spikes and item completions and power spikes, and it just showed that they certainly know exactly when Kiana is supposed to get down and dirty in these battles.
Yeah, and utilization of Hex Slash from Barrel I thought was very strong. Right, like the early turret dives they were able to pull off bottom lane just as soon as he hit level 5 or level 6 with Aftershock tanking multiple turret shots, and just like the overall vision control was so strong this entire game. They didn't have to actually fight at objectives. They got to fight in the enemy jungle as they were desperately trying to get vision. So Loki never had the setup for a fight, and it was a very dominant performance by Damwon.
Yep, and shout out to Canyon as well. Fantastic Talia. But for more on Game 2, let's head over to the State Farm Analyst Desk.
Thank you very much, Chatless. That was a little bit more of a sobering game. I think when we take a look at how it played out, 26-minute victory from Damwon. That's what everyone anticipated 3 times. We were surprised in game 1. I was sad. We'll get to why the game ended the way it did, but let's start by draft. Let's talk about the Pyke that rocked up. I know, Enda, you quite like the idea of the Pyke.
Well, so the Pyke's an interesting pick because I do think after the nerfs, like, I don't think you should be playing this pick up in the top lane, but I do understand the theory behind this champion, right? You concede laning phase entirely, and then you're supposed to have your jungler influence other lanes. They're supposed to get ahead, and then you enter these mid-game skirmishes where Pyke is going to pick up so much gold off of his ultimate, make up for all the CS he loses in lane, and then be sort of welcomed into the game by his team. The problem was, I didn't feel like that actually happened. The rest of the map just lost on their own.
Yeah, and the thing is that, and I think Jat hit it really well in the cast, what Loki seemed to be going for is just warped game state. So how do you warp game state? You introduce a different variable that teams haven't scrimmed against in a pretty long time. And so they've gone with a lane swap, and now they're trying to have an influx of gold in mid-game team fights. The problem is if you don't use the warp game state, then you just have a crap top laner. And I think like that's kind of